let's go. And you can see the slideshow, hey? It is showing.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining this September Town Hall. It's always good to see you all and catch up and discuss a couple of things. So thanks always for your time. So today what we're going to be going through is we're just going to take you through a little bit more of a progress update around user roles. Obviously, that's been a really big focus for us just, the last, since the roadmap. So we're going to take you through the user roles. We're also going to talk a bit about what's next. So kind of what are the next key features from the mode roadmap that we're going to be focusing on. We're also going to talk a bit about Siteglide and Sitegurus. So this is just talking about just an improved offering that Luke and the team have been working on with the Sitegurus guys. Just a better offering and simplified UI for, to assist you guys as agencies, especially if you're coming into any periods of time where you short on staff or there's you need an extra bit of assistance. So we're going to take you through just a bit of a new look and a bit of the new pricing model. I'm also just going to talk a bit about just your Siteglide showcases. So that's your site showcases, just around submitting your client projects. I think it's always nice for us just to, to show off your projects. It's always good to have click-throughs to, refer back to your agency as well from our main website. So we're just going to go through that and talk about, just so you're aware of the process and what you need to send through to us. We're also just going to have a bit of a discussion around the help documentation feedback. I know there are some gaps in the docs that we need to kind of, fill. And we're just going to discuss how we can work together just to make it easier for us to have sight of those things. So we're going to take you through that. And then also what we'll do is we'll just do our normal, basically open to the floor, and we'll share any general questions that we've had or you've submitted as well within the community. Okay, so let me just quickly do this. Exit. Luke, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. I'll just end your one quickly. I think I can just take over. There we go. Yeah, so I'll provide a little bit of an update from Matt, mainly on the user roles side of things. Obviously, as Colin said, that has been a pretty big undertaking. It got left so long because it's one of those things that isn't always the most important, but you kind of need it there to be able to do so many other things with it. And I think we spoke last time about then the ability to be able to lock the system down to just do certain things, and you can kind of sell it differently. And I think a whole load of things will come out of that. And also you just have more flexibility about how your customers and how your team members can use it. So just got a little bit, I've got a video screen share from Matt of where we're at with that. Basically at the point of final steps and getting it ready for release. So haven't got an exact date, but it's very, very soon now. And I think you'll see that from this video. So we'll just walk through it quickly. I think last time we showed you some of this where you can kind of copy existing permissions from an existing role. You'll see now a whole long list of all the different things that you can do. We've tried to break it down into the typical sort of CRUD things for every type of feature. There will obviously be more things we can do later. I'm sure you guys will want to be able to do very specific things, but this is a really good place to start with being able to create and set roles. You'll see on the left-hand side there that people can only see certain things based on the roles that have been set. So that hopefully, as we said about BC and various things, sometimes when something's there, it can actually work against you if you don't want it. People either say, don't charge me for that, I don't want it, or what does it do? And it's much easier if you can give people the exact interface that you want them to have and not be able to do anything dangerous. So any questions at all on that? I'll run it again just while we're talking, just so you can see it. But yeah, any questions? Actually, before anybody jumps in, Nick, I think I know what your first question might be. And yeah, at the back end of this, we're also doing the user management side of things, so deleting users from portal. Obviously, as we've said many times, it's a stupid little thing. You should definitely be able to have it. We'll put it in there as soon as this is done. But in the meantime, we are more than happy to help you as much as you need with that. So do just send over any requests, and I'm pretty sure I've seen you guys have been, and we'll just help with those as quickly as we can. Yeah, any questions at all?
Really?
Say that again.
Oh right, you were muted. Sorry. Yeah. I'm on the other side of the desk to John, who was muted, so I'm talking away and no one's hearing me. But yeah, it's more for clients, because you know if we need to update something, we can give you a shout really quickly. But if it's 10 o'clock at night and a client's just have sacked somebody and needs to get them taken off before they destroy the site, it's more that side.
Totally agree.
I've got one other one which you'll probably guess it as well, but on the on that grid, and this is probably a phase 2, is it possible just to have them grouped, so you can then just tick for example CMS pages, so access to everything or nothing, so you can select mini chunks within there rather than going down and having to, it looks like you have to tick everything, or would the view just work in that way? But it'd be just nice to kind of have them categorized, so you can rather than, that's a hell of a list to format each time.
It is. That's the reason. So we want it to be as granular as possible, but that is the reason we did the copy permissions from existing roles. So in theory, every agency can have their own permissions. You set them up once, and then you can very easily sort of change. I like the idea of groups. It's just another level of complexity, I guess. But yeah, it's a UI thing that we can probably change a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But for now, yeah. But for now, I think
about it by then.
Yeah, I would hope that you'd take one of the main roles and either add or remove from that. So in theory, it should be a little bit of work once, and then hopefully no work or minimal work.
Yeah, cool. Lovely, thanks.
Yeah, I do take the point on that. We just want, rather than give you like half flexibility, we want to give you the total flexibility and then make it a little bit slicker later, I guess, is probably best.
Yeah, cool.
Great. Any other questions or comments?
No, that's
looks good.
Cool.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's been more of an undertaking than we thought, but it's so core and so important to the whole platform, really, and just allows you guys to do things. It will be really interesting to see what you can end up building with it in terms of what kind of offering you can give people. We've also probably fixed quite a few things in the process, and obviously checked things. So like what people can view in Portal, for example, we've gone through and made sure that the certain types of roles can only see the right things, and then given you the ability to override that as well. So we feel it's very thoroughly thought out and planned out and built, but the UX side we can always tweak and improve later. As I mentioned last time, I think the only thing that's really missing that I can think of at the moment is very granular. So certain access to specific modules, let's say, or specific web apps, that kind of stuff. Again, when we get feedback from you guys on how urgent that is, we just got to work out where that sits versus other features on the roadmap, which I'm sure we'll get into in a second. So very, very close. That will be, I'm going to say out this month. It's in the final stages, and Matt's just trying to get that done. He wants that out the way, and then what we can start talking about now is moving on to general other roadmap elements and features. So we obviously had the sort of sprint planning session with you guys a little while back now, and planned what we were going to do. That has been reflected on the roadmap, but seeing as we've had a substantial amount of time focused on user roles, I thought it was, and that's what these meetings are for, it's a good opportunity to double check what the most urgent things are from your side. So ideally only from this list, but I know for you guys, Nick and John, e-commerce related things. So again, I think on that, we'd probably like to sort of ask you guys for your top one, like which one first, and we'll do that, and then which after those, and then for everybody else, your top one as well. And nothing, well, very few things on here are as big as user roles. So we should find that we can start doing the smaller ones quite quickly once user roles is out of the way. So over to anybody really in terms of what your big sort of number one most urgent thing is, I guess. Something in the chat. Oh, sorry. Just before we do that, sorry. Rox has put regarding user roles. With access levels, we would use a front-end design to limit user access to specific web apps or modules. Otherwise, this all becomes too complex to manage. Yeah, more and more, I'm seeing more and more people do front-end secure zone management of data and sites and stuff. So that's great. If you really want to build something custom, doing it front end is a great option. But we don't want you to have to build a whole complete front end CMS just because of one thing. So obviously, let us know when there's something that you feel you really need to be able to specify in the back end, and we'll try and obviously plan that in around other things. Sorry, back to everybody else. Top most urgent thing, anyone?
I'll push this to John because he does more of the day-to-day for which one's almost
Yeah. I'm going to say copying products because
I agree with that one because the clients, that's probably one of the most irritating ones. Yeah, product copy.
That's a great answer because that you might have noticed on one of Colin's screens on the deck earlier. That was one of the ones we'd picked. So
lucky
for us.
Copying products, or I can't recall. Sorry, I need to check. But yeah, being able to copy module items or web app items as well. You know, you can do it via an export and an import, but copying would be great.
Yeah.
You can do it with web app items.
Yeah.
I can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you not with module items?
You can
I'm not sure. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, sure.
If it's just products and the others you can't do, it would be good to have it on the others if you can't already do it. So
definitely, yeah. I think products I think is the main one.
Categories you can't.
Yeah,
categories would be great to be able to move. Categories would be great. So change one category from one parent to another parent.
We have enable disable categories in there. This is where we kind of have to we have to decide whether we do an overhaul of something like menu builder or whether we just add features for now. So I think, well, that hasn't been one of the higher voted ones. So product copy definitely is something we had planned next. And then I think on the e-commerce side of things, Colin, can you remind me what the other one was that we were going to look at?
Yeah, I guess our next most important one is order custom fields on orders.
Yes, I think. Do you know which one it was, Colin? Sorry.
It was that one.
Order custom fields.
We're doing well. 2 out of 2. Right, who's going to get the third one?
Yeah, so I think we'd start there on e-commerce at least. We'll try and obviously focus on one of those, get that done while we're doing other things as well. So that obviously we want to make sure that everybody's heard and that we're trying to work on a range of things that are urgent. Is there anything else sort of non-e-commerce from anyone that's really critically urgent at the moment?
All my big projects are e-commerce.
Everything's e-commerce at the moment. Sorry.
Just the way it's flowing.
Yeah, I think I had a couple in my invite, didn't I? That were just
you did, Rox. We're going to go through those as well. We'll jump onto that. Let's do that now. Actually, so the first one was media download, import, export. It's been discussed quite a few times, and unfortunately, the answer is it's not actually possible from a platform-wise perspective, or from a platform perspective. I think. Let me pull that one up quickly. We've talked before,
didn't we? I think we needed something along those lines and found out we couldn't. I can't remember exactly why it wasn't viable, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, it makes it so, like, the media downloads is such a fabulous functionality, but I can't really use it because if I'm importing a previous site or anything like that, or I'm going to upload it one at a time. It's just, yeah.
It's a tricky one because Dean sort of written the answer to you, Nick, back in December 2020, and it's just one of those fundamental I don't know how we get around it problems. If everyone feels this, let's say everyone said this was the most urgent thing, I'm sure we'd come up with something, but I'm not sure we know what it is yet.
Even if it goes for an intermediary place and then ends up there or something like that, I don't know.
Okay. What's the voting on this currently? 11. Would everybody agree that this is well worth at least putting time into exploring and seeing if we can get a solution to it? I think
it feels like it's, I mean, from our point of view, it might be one client every blue moon. It's not, I wouldn't put it above other thing. I mean, Rock's probably, by the sounds of things, has got somebody where it's really pertinent for at the moment. So,
I guess we're not, well, when at the moment we're not doing very many e-commerce sites, but we do lots of, well, not lots. I guess the aim we're trying to build a platform that we can use for things like local government or even more a marketing site or a community-based site, which is sharing information and those sorts of things. And a lot of that is going to be, media downloads is going to be the.
Can you not build a media download with a web app that's not secure?
Well, we can do it with a.
And then you can secure it.
Web app. And that's how we've been doing it, but it's been a bit more clunky in a way than the media download. So,
let's look at it,
some
Rox.
kind of hybrid thing that doesn't actually use the media download functionality, but could be built almost a little bit separately, possibly.
Yeah, let's get a discussion going either in one of the main channels in Discord or in your team one, and maybe with the team on Sitegurus as well. We can just look at what the options are. We can either map something out that you guys can do, or see if we can add it to a roadmap or whatever it might be. I think we need to find a solution to this. It just might not be. Well, at the moment, it can't be just simply adding it to media downloads. Okay. Let's find a solution to that, because I can definitely see the value and the importance of it. So
yeah, I can't remember what our use case was, say 3 years ago. So, but yeah, I'm sure.
I suspect it may have been Hugh Westbury.
Yeah, it would have been actually.
At that point in time.
Yeah. We've obviously got to work around somehow.
Yeah.
But probably because their information no one in the world would ever want to access.
Yeah. No,
the reason I like media uploads or media downloads as a module is that when we hand the site over for our clients to be able to manage manage the site, and the concept of uploading a document through the media downloads is a pretty nice sort of one, and then they're able to use it in a pretty simple way, whereas the web app is it's like a few more steps in it, sort of thing. That's all. So
yeah, I mean, obviously,
and it's easier for them to put a web app into the wrong place, like a web app file into the wrong place, and suddenly you've got what would you say? Minutes of meetings that are in the images logo folder type of thing, or that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. It sounds like it could lend itself to a module then.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we have full access, and you do as well, to Platform OS directly, and media downloads is based off that. So it could be that we either collaboratively or something come up with a solution that's more. Yeah, it is a module that you can then kind of expand, extend, or whatever. So, let's get a discussion going on it.
That's the other bit too, is being able to add custom fields as well. So,
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, being able to extend it as a module is probably a good plan. Okay. Yeah, Colin, can you make a note to let's start a discussion on that and come up with some kind of solution, hopefully something even more flexible and powerful.
Yeah, I've got the notes down here. I'll make it clear. Yeah,
Great, thank you. Your next one, Rox, from memory, was menu import export. I've got a better answer on that. As part of menu builder v2, yeah, that's a great idea. We'll add that into the list of features and requirements. So makes total sense to be able to import and export those.
It's probably next on our list as well, and it feels like it's quite a large project, menu builder. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, that's the problem with it. And it's, while I can see it, I mean, it definitely needs to be improved, and I can see how valuable this can be. It's always hard to put a lot of time into kind of a fairly small feature, really, in terms of building sites and the flexibility. So yeah, I guess I mean, obviously there's votes on there, but I think we'd need everybody to kind of say this needs to be the next big one, which I think we're going to get mixed views on that.
It's quite a thing for, I mean, you know, even as a developer, it's really a lot quicker to build sites out and so on for us, but for the end users, I think that's you know, it's such a big thing for them. It's almost like, do you know what, everybody else has got it and we haven't. It's right at level, really, in my mind. So I don't know if you, Liz and Rox, feel the same on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, you know, my juniors, I've got to really, you know, and they're technical people. I've got to explain to them what's going on. You need to create an item using another item, then just rename it and change the link. It's sort of, you know, that's not just
clunky,
just an intuitive sort of thing with the current one. So
yeah, it isn't. And you know, actually, a lot of our stuff now, we don't even use menu builder, do we? We're kind of just building mega menus out in the code, which you know, which when it comes to end user is not the way to do it. So
I've just done a mega menu using the menu builder, and the liquid is quite full on to handle different sorts of mega menus and stuff. Anyway,
yeah.
Well, let me throw this out there then. I guess this is where we're trying to think, well, obviously there's core things that we want to keep adding. And I think our view has always been to try and add little things that empower you the most, give you the most flexibility. This isn't one of those, really. This is a feature. I wonder whether something like this, if we don't all agree that it should take up a huge amount of roadmap time, is this something that could be looked at as a menu improvement in the marketplace? So a module where it sounds like, I know people are building, you're building your own versions anyway of the actual code. Is it a case of trying to do a custom UI that works with that more flexible setup, or do we just have to bite the bullet and make this a core one?
Yeah.
I think the menu builder would be, you know, like from a platform perspective, you know, it's good enough in lots of ways, but certainly having the ability to add an item that isn't a product, sorry, a page, would be, so being able to add, say, a web app item or a module item, or even a you know, a link to elsewhere sort of thing. Having that would be, you know, take it from something that's maybe a bit underdone when you're handing it out to users to something that I think is pretty good.
Yeah, that would be our core functionality. The link to elsewhere we already got in there, but the ability to link.
The only addition would be, sorry to cut you out. Sorry, Nick.
Sorry.
Go on.
I should say the ability to link to internal items within the site, not just pages, is kind of our core one. And then being able to filter the list at the side. So, because obviously if you've got a site with 300 pages, it's really hard work. You know, so, you know, simple search functionality maybe on the side, or just being able
and then we add one more thing, which is the ability to enable and disable. I think that's really important as well.
So actually, all of those, if I'm thinking correctly, are all basically UI changes. They're not structural changes. So the only issue I don't like with doing that kind of thing is you're trying to improve something that's inherently not the best setup. Moving to JSON and changing it would be the way we'd want to go. I guess the question is, if we do those few things quickly, would we then not come back to menu builder and do the structural stuff for a long time, I guess? Do you think?
In the end, I think, well, certainly from my perspective, the cost of the database items is less critical now that I'm on the reseller thing, than what it was before, where, you know, I'm on some sites, I'm just trying to really economize on what I'm doing because it's, you know, was blowing out of control.
Yeah.
And I can always create a JSON menu if I really want to, you know, so just using traditional you know, XML processing, what's it called, XSLT or whatever it is. And I mean, that would be really nice to have, but having it as functionality that I can just let my users use. I mean, ultimately, I'm trying to build sites that I can hand over to a client. The client can do a fair bit of it themselves. That's the selling point of the product. They can add items, they can remove items, they can manage their products, that sort of stuff. So
yeah, and I guess it just come down to resource insofar as, you know, if you said, well, we can do those things in the next 3 weeks, you know, going to get that you know, without doing the JSON elements, but you know, to rebuild it is going to be an 8-month project, then yeah, it's a really easy answer. Let's get it to that place, and as Rock says, once it's, make it usable for our customers would be a big tick. Yes, you know, having the new JSON layout and restructuring it, that would be wonderful, but just getting it to that initial place. I mean, if that had been built in when the builder was built, I wonder if we'd be having this conversation at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so I think getting that functionality for the end user is the is the most important thing than doing a complete rebuild at this stage. You know, if the rebuild's going to take 50% longer than doing those initial elements, then yeah, you know, but you guys will know that more than us.
I'm looking at it slightly differently as well, which might help you see my perspective. Is I'm really focused on what you've both just said in terms of making it as easy as possible for clients to do things. And I think one big area that still needs improvement is Studio, like the basic editing of content and pages and things. So we know that there are some quick wins there, some fixes that there's just some things that are really frustrating at the moment. So if we did quick fixes on Studio and quick fixes on Menu Builder, that's a way more that's a way better solution, and we get them done quickly. The only issue is, are we just creating more trouble for ourselves straight afterwards? Is it enough? And I think from what you guys are saying on Menu Builder, it's enough. I think on Studio we would probably do the fixes anyway, because they're quick and they need to be done. And then we can actually have discussions with you guys about, okay, well, if we were to overhaul something or start again or whatever, how would we do it? And that's obviously then a much bigger project, and has to be planned in. How does that sound?
Sounds brilliant. Yeah, definitely the way forward, I think.
Yeah, I think Studio definitely needs looking at, because the amount of people who phone up and said, "Oh, I'm trying to use Studio and it's completely the page," and going and fix it is
it's infuriating for me, really, because
and me.
But I think there are quite a lot of quick things in there that we can do, and it's almost like the flagship that people see. The customers see that's their experience, and it needs to be better. So it was on Colin's slide deck as well as our sort of top big thing to do next. But maybe we make it we're still deciding which way to go. Do we sort of overhaul it completely, or do we make some quick wins? I think we've talked about doing the quick wins anyway. Let's try and focus on that. I think get Menu Builder up to the same level, and then hopefully finish off some more of the smaller things. Let me get the zoom out of the way. Some more of little really useful things across the whole platform. Like one I really want to do is category custom fields. But there was, yeah, order custom fields. There was another one. But yeah, little things like that, that we can just give you those extra features. I think it can make a real difference. Whereas attacking a massive, big new feature is only gonna, well, user roles is a good example of that. We feel like we can't give you these quick wins at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really helpful. And Rox, your last one was on menu builder, talking about flexibility of doing mega menus. I think we probably discussed it quite a bit, but I think we need a bit more clarity in terms of what you feel you can't do currently. Well, I think you probably said it, but what do you need in menu builder to allow you to do mega menus better, do you think? Is it what we've just discussed?
I guess probably for some sorts of mega menus, it might be to be able to have a sub menu that's in the mega menu. And for others, it might be that it is to be like a content area or a code snippet or another piece of code sort of thing. Maybe even a micro page or something. I don't know. I guess that's a snippet or a content area.
So what custom fields being added to menus?
Well, I'm just thinking about, I've just done a mega menu and I've tried a couple of different ways of doing bits and pieces on it. Some of it is as a code snippet. And this is where I've got content that is not really suited to a menu, but it's in the mega menu. So for example, I've got a mega menu which has the 3 latest blog posts in it, or a contact us form, or things like that. But
or an advert or something. Yeah,
they're not menu items. Some of it is menu items. So the first 2 columns might be menu items. The third column might be a contact us form or something like that. So.
And you'd ideally like them to be able to pull in something else.
Well, if you were doing that as part of the bigger menu type of thing, so you could choose rather than linking to a page, you could say display this code snippet, just say.
So that bit, this bit there, effectively being able to pull in data from anywhere else in the platform and being able to pull in a code snippet would allow you to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't fully know if we hit issues with the design side. Like if you want to make one of those items look different, do you have enough control over that in the layouts, do you think?
Well, that's how I've done it at the moment. I mean, I've got a graphic designer who does the most beautiful designs, but trying to create them is hard. So he's had a mega menu that on one item, one of the main items, it's a 4-column layout. They're all equal widths. On another one, it's a 3-column layout where one column's 50% wide. There's another one where there's a sub menu really, which is over 2 columns and stuff. So yeah, it was hard to code, and I've had to simplify what he'd designed. But anyway, it works at the moment. But there was a bit of complexity, I guess, in working out what was doable and what wasn't realistically doable. Because again, client could be controlling the menu builder, and it needs to behave in a way that's, it's not hard coded. Otherwise, I would just hard code it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I think then loosely, the changes we've discussed would allow you to hopefully do mega menus at least better, hopefully fully, because you should have total control over the design in theory, and you should be able to then put your tags in the right places. So yeah, giving you access to any type of data or the user is a UX thing. Enable, disable, and potentially some extra data. But if we have the have the ability to connect to other data, that might solve it. I'm just worried that that one's too structural, but
Yeah.
we'll come back to that. We'll look into it. Okay. Good. I think those were all of your questions, Rox. That
Yes.
right? Great. Just conscious a little bit of time for everybody. So is there anything else roadmap-wise anybody wanted to discuss? Or do you think we've got a good handle? I'll just summarize what I think we've heard is for you guys, Nick and John, product copy and order custom fields on the e-commerce side. We all agreed menu builder, small tweaks and improvements. Same with Studio. Just get the fixes in there. And then, well, probably do that and then reconvene and make sure we get the next ones lined up. Liz, was there anything you wanted to suggest or say was more urgent?
Probably for me, it's still reports is the main thing. Although it's not as pressing now because I've used APIs to Airtable quite a lot for clients. Yeah, but reporting was still a big one. Just to have those simple reports that they can do themselves, and it's better than it was, obviously. But yeah, that would be my hot one.
Yeah, this gets left for a few reasons. One of the ones in my mind is that GraphQL is so powerful for doing whatever you want. And in a way, we've sort of always looked at and toyed with the idea of just giving you guys GraphIQL or something where you can very easily run your own sort of data reports, I guess. But you still probably, especially the customer, needs a UI around it. So I think we do need to come back to this one. Yeah, it's a tricky one trying to plan this in against some of the other features because I guess we need to look at
have something where you use GraphQL to get the data, and then you are creating a you've got a you're using Liquid. You're basically displaying it as or flattening it how you want into a CSV or something like that. But having it so that it actually downloads as a CSV. So setting to say that the type as a CSV.
I mean, I think that would be a great marketplace module that someone could easily sort of probably put together. So yeah, it's a great idea. The tricky bit for us is obviously trying to put it into what we've already got is probably a lot more work. So yeah, I think that would be a great starting point, is someone sort of having a specific use case and going, right, I'll use GraphQL, I'll do this, and there we go. We've got a new feature and a new module.
I guess one of the other areas is where it's still, I'm not sure what people are doing, but like with e-commerce orders, it's still hard to get out what products have been purchased in the cart. The actual order details. And I've got a few clients that impacts. I've got some wine clients and also membership clients that they buy, some people put a lot of stuff in their cart and buy everything at once. And then the business owner wants to, or the person responsible for the whatever, is trying to get out, a bit, well, have they ordered this particular product? It's really difficult.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. No,
and I mean the membership sites are the worst because they might be buying their new membership, but they'll also buy some add-ons, and then it's hard to get multiple things. It becomes tricky.
Colin, let's make a note of that one as well. And again, maybe we start a discussion on this to try and get. I think we probably need a little more real-world examples on what needs to be reported on and what's difficult at the moment.
How Matt did that little add-on to the what was the module? The events module. So I've got a mini workaround for one client at the moment. Like they're not using events module, but if you put a product as an event, some other random product, the events module will pull back all the people who purchased that product. So that's quite handy. It's almost good enough to be moved to the
Reporting. Yeah.
Because that's really all we want, you know, have who's purchased this. So I've had to use for some of those clients a mix of shopping cart products plus forms for the other stuff they can purchase. Just so that we can split them out. Yeah. But it's an interesting one. I'm sure other people must be having the same problem.
That's a really interesting example. We'll look to see how much of this we can apply, I guess. And
the wine one is interesting because they can, you know, the sites they have the ability to order different wines. They construct a box which is all different wines, but then, well, how many are, you know, Riesling and how many are a red wine or whatever? They can't easily tell that because it's hard to get to that product list.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll look into that and see how much of that we could reuse. That'd be a nice way to do it.
Almost there.
I just wonder if that would be something that custom orders fields could help with, and then you can report on the order field.
Then we'd have to make all the products with a custom field, though, wouldn't we? That's probably an overhead.
Not the product. Well, yeah, I suppose you could. Yeah, you would still have to assign something onto the product. Thinking about it, yeah. To flag it as a red wine, I guess, and so on to report.
Well, you can get down to varieties as well, because they can do
on if they're categorised, you can report the categories, I suppose. Yeah, you can't do that at the moment, can you? So.
No, you're right. It does need more thought. Now I've thought about it.
If anyone's got a solution, let me know.
We'll start a discussion on that and make sure we're clear on the requirements. Just quickly on the order custom fields, the issue at the moment for you guys is that you can't see them in admin, correct? You can create them, you just can't see them.
Yeah, you would probably know more about that than anyone. But, listening.
What was that again? Sorry.
Sorry. Hello, Joe.
So on an order, you can create custom fields. This is what Matt Jones is saying, but you can't actually, they don't appear in the admin when you go to the order. So I think you just want those custom fields to be visible.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll work through this one. That's number 2 in the list now. So yeah, we'll work through that one. Cool. Okay. I think we'll probably leave roadmap there if everyone's happy to, because I wanted to show a couple of bits on Sitegurus. I won't do too much because I'm just to make you guys aware. And then I think Colin just had a couple more bits to look at as well. So if you think of anything, as always, just discuss in Discord or send us a message and we'll review it. Do always try and let us know what the most urgent things are, and it'll help us manage things better. But it seems like we got it right this time, which is good to hear. Yeah. Cool. Very quickly, I'll just run through the changes we're making on Sitegurus. So as explained in the last one, I wanted to check with you guys how we sort of go about it. We've always been very careful to make sure that Siteglide is aimed at agencies and end customers go directly to their agency or an agency to get help. We don't want to be doing, Sitegurus or Siteglide do not want to be doing helping clients with design, marketing, all of that kind of stuff, and really just want to work with you guys. So what we've added is a services page on the website, which would now help better get people to you guys. So there's a section right at the top encouraging people to find an expert, which is, it's literally linking them to a page that already exists under community, but it's a little bit more obvious now. You click that and then you'd get through to the sort of experts page and be able to contact various companies. If you don't have a profile here and you want to, just get in touch, but it should be very easy to do in the portal. What we've also done is after that, it sort of says if you're an agency, then see below, and we've just linked off to Sitegurus. So we're trying to really split the two and make sure that Sitegurus is clearly positioned for agencies to get some additional help. And hopefully that does enough there. If you click that, it'll take you to a new homepage that we've got. And just more information on the platform and the service, and the UI has changed quite a bit, which I'll show you in a minute. A bit more information on the way it works. A really simple process to create tasks, put a budget against it, having discussed it with someone and getting a quote, and then collaborate through it within that task. Some services that we're going to be adding, and just making sure there's more off-the-shelf stuff available, so that you can, or any agency can just say, right, let's get the site up and running quickly, just the bare bones, or help me with this module, or whatever it might be, so that there's more kind of fixed price stuff, less unknowns. Then things like helping build something for the marketplace. That's something that we can assist with, and even potentially fast tracking roadmap stuff. Again, it's probably more where it lends itself to being a roadmap, a module. But in theory, if there's something that you really need and it's just very hard to justify for the whole community, then that's something we could look at as well. And then obviously just custom work. Explaining a bit more about Site Builder. Hopefully you guys are aware of that and either use it or know a bit about it. The process that we explain and why it's so much quicker, taking a sort of design systems Site Builder process. And then we have put some pricing on the website. What we've done is we've got public pricing, which technically anybody could purchase, but we've set that at a rate. We've got a discounted rate for agencies effectively. So it's basically the pricing it is now. If I go through to the portal quickly, this is the new user interface. It's just been cleaned up a bit. The new task making process is a little bit slicker. Let's just put something in here. You can put your Siteglide URL. Soon that'll be a drop down of all your sites, because it will link up to Siteglide, and soon you'll be able to get to Sitegurus from the back end, the admin portal of Siteglide. You'll be able to just click through and it will sync user details. So yeah, now you can just quickly choose whether it's pay as you go or fixed price, and then standard unless you want it quicker. Then there's a multiplier, and then that's it. The task gets made. So much quicker and simpler process for making tasks. Then when you're in a task, as normal, you can just ask questions. You can add budget once you've maybe you're going to discuss a task, agree on the amount of work and the amount of hours. Everything switched to hours rather than credits. It was a bit confusing and wasn't really necessary. So now you can just add budget in hours. You can add half an hour, whatever it might be. And there'll soon be a feature where, when you're discussing it, the developer can put in the quote of, say, 2 hours, and it will come up with a box saying accept quote, and it'll add 2 hours to the project. What else quickly, just trying to fly through it. On the pricing, so I showed you publicly it's 100 starting point for an hour. Then for agencies, it's 80 starting point. And if you buy more than 40 hours at once, then it comes down to 60. And then if you put it on, we had this membership before, which we've now switched to subscribe and save, taking some cues from Amazon there. But if you do that, then it takes an additional 10% off. So we're trying to make it really, really affordable for agencies, but obviously we have to be very careful, because you get to a point where that's just it's just too low. It's not manageable. So you can put whatever numbers in here that you want, and with subscribe and save, that's a minimum of 3 months to get that extra discount. So the current pricing, or the old pricing, I think was 75 for an hour. So that's now slightly cheaper, as long as it's on the subscribe and save. And then the thresholds are now a lot lower. I can't remember the exact numbers before, but you're basically now just doing it in hour, day, or week, or totally custom. But the threshold is 8 hours and 40 hours to get the discounts. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, just if at some point you need some help, we're here to help. This is totally optional, obviously. It's just sometimes it might be useful, and we just want to make sure you're aware of it. So we tried to make it simpler. We're happy to help with whatever it might be. And and just wanted to make sure you're aware of how it sits marketing wise. So hopefully that's in line with what we discussed last time. I don't think there's anything else to mention. Any questions?
How do I get access to the invoice for the site builder?
Was that
From memory?
Yeah, is that Rox? Is that for the Flowbyte Pro version?
Yeah.
So I actually did provide feedback. Maybe it didn't get through to you, but I did actually send you through the logins for Flowbyte where you'll be able to log in and get the invoice. Did you not receive it, Rox?
Oh, it might be. Is it in? Maybe it's in Discord.
I think it was an email, but I'll resend it to you. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Just to give you a bit of clarity on that one, Rox, we had put it in the marketplace, in our marketplace, as something you could buy, and have realized, because originally Site Builder was going to be charged, and now it's free. It doesn't make any sense at all for us to sell Flowbyte. We're just going to direct you guys to Flowbyte and buy it there. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So what we've done, Flowbyte have been really helpful on this, and they've just provided you with a full code as if you bought it from them. So you'll have an invoice from us, and you'll have a license and a code from them on this occasion. But there's no difference.
Right. Okay. So the
I'll check
invoice
you've got the invoice.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I think. The last email sort of said that, but I still didn't have the invoice. That was all.
Yeah, I'll double check that for you. Make sure you've got the invoice. But yeah, apologies for the confusion there. We realised that is not a sensible way to manage it.
Was kind of hard enough.
All right.
If people who haven't used it, it was it's quite good. I put together some sites really fast with it. So
that's good to hear.
Good to hear.
Yeah, really fast. So I used ChatGPT to create dummy data as well. It's quite funny.
Awesome. Oh, I'd love to see more examples of that. That's very cool. Yeah.
Give me 20 events for a local government, and I want it in CSV format, and include the locations. And it said just giving me all the stuff. It's been good.
Great.
That's awesome. Just to summarize for anybody that doesn't know, we've got a page on the site now on the homepage called Site Builder. That'll tell you a little bit more about it. But essentially, we've got in the marketplace, we've got a demo. We've got templates available that you can start from. I don't know whether you started from one Rox, but we've got like a marketing site template, and then we've got
a portal
landing page, a portal one. Yeah, exactly. So starting from those makes it even quicker and easier. But you could actually just start from Site Builder and build from scratch. Did you do one of these then? Rox?
Yeah, I think I started with the portal one. I probably should have started with the marketing site one, I think. Anyway, for the one I'm doing, it doesn't matter.
The other option, as I sort of mentioned, is starting from Site Builder itself. You just create a blank site, install Site Builder, and then from there you can use the UI to like build out different sections and use Studio as well. So when we improve Studio, you should find that you can pretty much do the whole thing without too much code. Obviously,
you must have made some improvements to Studio, because it seemed to be working a bit better for me than what it was when I last used it. So
good to hear, but I'm not sure we have.
Right. Maybe it's the browser I'm using then. I think I was in Safari. It was not nice in Safari.
No, we will go through that. That's next on the list to make those fixes. But I'm glad to hear it was a little bit better. There are some really nice quick fixes that we can do, so we'll get that done ASAP. Just to quickly sort of summarize back on this. So so you can build sites from templates. You can build sites with Site Builder specifically, and then using Flowbyte. We are doing one with Creative Tim on the Bootstrap side, but Flowbyte's just so powerful. Tailwind is really good to use, so we really strongly recommend using Flowbyte if you can. Obviously, there's a little bit of a learning curve there, but hopefully you guys would agree that using Site Builder kind of reduces the learning curve. Was Tailwind new to you, Rox?
Yeah, Tailwind was completely new. Reasonably experienced with Bootstrap. And we've used quite a few like add-on templates to Bootstrap before. So I think Porto and Canvas and what's the other one? Starts with M. Anyway, quite popular ones. And yeah, so it's a different way of, I mean, similar way, you know, you're doing everything with classes, but it's just a different way to think about the grid and stuff like that in Tailwind. So
yeah,
and a few other things, but yeah, it looks good.
And did you use Figma at all with Flowbytes, or just starting from?
No, we're an Adobe shop, so I don't want to.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it will become. Yeah, I guess it will be an Adobe
Yeah.
shop. So yeah, when that happens, we'll probably start using it. But yeah, we've actually, you know, I've been surprised at what we've been able to do with XD. But
you don't even really need to use any design tool in theory if you're happy. You piece together your layouts from Flowbyte, the ones that we've got built in using Studio or Site Builder, and then yeah, you can just do CSS changes as normal, really.
Yeah, so I guess what I mean, the bit with the design stuff, this is where the mega menus got out of control, but is you know, starting to visualize some of those other style changes in a cohesive way, which when you're just going and editing each page and, you know, changing margins and adding a border or whatever it is, curvature, you can have a bit of like non-standard stuff, I guess, start to happen. So that's a good advantage of using something like a Figma or a XD to sort of piece it all together to start off with, and then you've got like a design template, or not a design, like a style in a way to go from across the whole site. So
I think it also massively depends on your project flow with customers. Like if you want all of the content and imagery signed off first, then it's way quicker doing that in Figma. We've actually had customers get really involved on the Wizzy side. This is really involved in Figma and really trying to get it right there, and that can save a huge amount of time later. But then you might find that you're just piecing together a site using Studio and Site Builder, and then they go in and edit the content. It just depends on the way you've sold it, I guess.
Yes, all of ours ones so far have pretty well been all ones like this that have been front-end applications rather than portals or a particular databasing type of system, have been migrations of existing WordPress sites that we've been. Oh, you know, people just can't manage a WordPress site. I don't know. There's just 500 different interfaces and stuff, and you know, all the different modules stop working and with each other and that sort of thing. But the yeah, so we've just migrated the data over, and then we build the structures to present that information, I guess. So we're not doing a lot of the content creation actually in the system, but you know, that ongoing, that will happen.
Yeah.
We've usually got the content already. We're just trying to present it in a different way. And the big challenge probably from a ideation perspective, other than the design and that sort of thing, is you know, how we use the different elements so that it's going to be workable for our clients. So one of the things that we've done, and I never really, even with BC, I never really used the code snippets much, you know, here and there, maybe for some scripts and those sorts of things. But where I've got quite complex bits of, say, Liquid, or I'm accessing, you know, GraphQL or that sort of stuff to present something, or to, you know, particular data, like, you know, past events, future events, current events type of thing. I've been putting that into code snippets where I don't want the user to go in and fiddle with it, sort of thing. They can plonk that on the page, is the past events, is the future events, as a code snippet, but they can't actually change the code or wreck the code.
Yeah, just linking that back into roadmap actually, and the next focus. This is one of the reasons we want to really get Studio right, is some of the Flowbyte specific layouts, they've focused on best optimization and performance. So they've used SVGs maybe, or they've used icons, and we haven't made those easy to use in Studio yet. So those are the kind of things we want to do, try and make sure the whole thing ties up, that you don't have to do crazy workarounds with web apps, or we just want to make the whole experience of going from either Figma, Flowbyte, our template, site builder, whatever it is, to building it and then the client editing it as slick as possible. So we'll definitely get support for, I think, background images was another big frustration. Those kind of things, we'll get that into Studio. So yeah, hopefully you can just continue to give your clients access to manage and edit content and everything. Cool. Okay, I think probably best that I leave it there at least. Been quite a while, I'm conscious of everybody's time. So yeah, if you have any questions about the whole Sitegurus side of things or anything else, Flowbyte, Site Builder, just get in touch, even in Discord. But yeah, I think I'll stop my screen share there for now. Colin, apologies for taking up most of the time, but I think you quickly wanted to mention a few bits.
Yeah, so I know we haven't got that much time, but I just wanted to obviously mention, just so it's top of mind for everyone. I know if I look back, we haven't been adding any really new kind of projects or case studies that you guys as agencies have been doing. So if there's any like key projects you guys have done and you want to show them off, please do submit the information to us, and then we can go and add those to the site. So pretty straightforward. You can just add a project, and that's pretty simple. It's just the URL, a nice cover image of the home page. But if you want to do a case study, that'll be obviously really nice to have as well. Just giving us specific information about what were the challenges perhaps for the project, what features you ended up using for the project itself, and then just some description and images around that. So for now, you can just submit that by email to myself or to support, but I will look at maybe just an easier way to submit that sort of information. But yeah, if there are any sites that you want to showcase, do submit it to us. If there's any other ones you want to kind of remove, you just let us know. It's on the showcase tab on the main Siteglide marketing site. Just let us know if there's anything, maybe if there's especially a site that's not, maybe you haven't got that site anymore, we can always update and remove as well. So just keep that on top of mind, and then just let us know if there's any ones you want to add. And then one of the other things that was kind of a key thing that came up, I think Liz definitely, brought it up, was just working with us for providing any help documentation feedback or if anything's missing. So currently our help doc provider, you can rate a doc, and I do check that periodically, but we don't get the feedback immediately. So what I'm going to look at doing is I'm going to look at creating a channel in Discord, just so you can provide feedback to us if you notice there's a page that needs updating or missing something. And then there will just be a form pinned in that channel for you to submit your feedback. As I said, it just helps us have sight of what needs to be improved. So just let us know if you do come across anything that maybe we can assist and just improve on. I know there are a few, and I know Liz has messaged me directly as well. Okay, so just let me know if there's anything we can improve on that side. We are aware, obviously, the time has gone quite a bit over the hour, but are there any sort of other things that you want to discuss? I know just the open floor to everyone, if there's any things that you guys have, if there's any challenges you have, any things to mention to the community, feel free.
Has H-Capture updated recently? Have they made changes to it? Because it seems to be pulling more script to a site than it used to. Seems to be almost triple the size in kilobytes coming across. It's screwing my page speeds at the moment on Google.
Yeah, so that query is actually still with Platform OS. And are you seeing it's even more so now?
Yeah,
it seems
to be more than it was previously, because previously it was pulling the same JavaScript file twice. Now it seems to be half a meg for each time you're putting H-Capture. So we just had to take it off home pages and elevate, because it's
because that's where people check.
Yeah, that's where people check. Yeah. So people go to check their Google page speed insights, and
let me revisit that with Platform OS, because we provided, remember that feedback you provided us, even showing like the way it's pulling H-Capture on the Platform OS example page, it was doing the same thing. We provided that feedback to them. Let me go and look at that again, and let me raise it with them again, because it's still an open ticket with them with Platform OS. So I'll just test that. But yeah, that sounds a bit silly. So instead of it's being more streamlined, it's gotten a little bit more.
And also, we've got an issue with HCapture where if you use HCapture on a Bootstrap theme, it tends to conflict and causes especially if you have a form at the bottom of the page, it pushes the whole page up, and you can't then click the thing at the bottom. I can send you a screenshot. I'll show you.
Yeah, please send me an example site. Yeah, please, John, that would help. And then I can.
But they never used to do that. It's only started doing that the last couple of weeks, sort of 3 weeks. So I had people saying, "Oh, we can't click no one can fill a form in because we can't click the verify button," which is no good to anyone.
No, that's not great. Okay, perfect.
No, I'll send you. I've got a couple of screenshots, so I'll send them across.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll check with Platform OS, and I'll just mention that about it. It's using more data now when it's doing the scripts, and it's affecting the SEO. And then let's check why it's doing that. And send me a screen grab and just that example site, and then we'll look into it. Okay.
There are some other kind of form verification tools out there, and I'm just trying to look at Clean Talk, but it needs to be installed at platform level, so it's not something we can add. I'm just trying to look for the URL so I can share that.
.org.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, we talked to Platform OS a lot about. I think we even looked at this one at the time. I think you might have mentioned it, Nick. But it has to be at their level, really, because the problem that we had with reCAPTCHA was people could get around it, and it has to be at platform level, and they believe HCapTCHA's the right one to go with. But we should obviously keep raising any concerns and suggest things.
I think at the time when they went with HCapTCHA, it probably was the right thing, but it's very quickly become not the case, which is frustrating.
I can't find anything online about speed or performance issues with it. So
I can't either. We've gone long and hard into this, and we're definitely seeing the issues. So whether it's linked to how it's configured within Platform OS, I don't know. But it's we're going up to adding a meg onto a page or something, aren't we? Which is bonkers.
Wow. We'll have that discussion with
a meg of form fill.
We'll keep discussing it with them. There might actually be an argument for seeing if one of them, probably JJ it would be, can join in some of our discussions with you guys, because sometimes we're probably best not to be in the middle. So we'll have a chat with them and see if there's a bit more that can be discussed there.
Happy to do it at any point with the Platform OS guys.
Great, thanks. We might do a sort of smaller group in Discord or something like that. Leave it with me.
I'm not sure what's happening, because I've got HCapTCHA on one of our Bootstrap sites, and it's Bootstrap 5. It's displaying fine, and the HCapTCHA
it seems to be some of it's our older sites. So whether it's it's an older version of Bootstrap that we've got on there, I don't know. Could very well be Bootstrap 4 or something that because we wouldn't update that if the site's working fine. We'll just carry on.
And the HCapTCHA is pretty small. It's only bytes, not kilobytes even.
Yeah, I can't find any.
HTML 1.2.
Have you got page speed insights on it, Rox?
Oh, I'm just looking at the files that have come across from.
Well, this is the thing. It's the file, but it's the JavaScript that then sits remotely that then has to be that seems to be causing the issue. So it's not what actually is on the site. It's
it's what it calls in when it loads.
So do a page speed insight on it, and you might find, to your horror, that it's not scoring overly well. But
okay.
If it's scoring well, let us know, because we need to find out what we're doing wrong there.
I'll have a look at that.
I'll go and check that example you sent through last time, John, because we could pick up that using more stuff, and it wasn't just on that HCapTCHA on your site. It was even that example HCapTCHA that they provided from Platform OS, and that's when they said they would look at it, because they saw it happening on that side. So let us take it back to them, and we'll get you some feedback. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Colin. Thank you.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. Is there anything else? I know I don't want to keep you
Got was
guys
that
too
thing
much
mentioned
longer.
this morning?
With the only thing other that I got, which probably yes, it should be roadmap really, but I completely forgot about it, was multiple attributes, one stock item. So, and the prime example of this is I've got a red shirt, a blue shirt, a green shirt in 3 different sizes. And that we never really kind of got around to addressing that. We've got a workaround, but then it uses a lot of data points on it. Even in the moderate sized e-commerce site, it's going to be a lot of data, and it's not great for the end users. It'd be good to revisit that. However, I would put it no earlier than number 4 on that list in terms of our priorities at the moment. I had a site work just finalising a site now, which I thought was going to be a problem, and then I found out they didn't do stock control. One of those moments. So yeah.
Are you saying that is on the roadmap, Nick? There's 3 things I can find about attributes: product attributes, custom fields, ability to sort options, and multi-images. It doesn't really sound like any of those.
No, I think it was on our list on Discord, and it was, I think, where it was listed there, it was with the image one.
Right.
Because you then get the other thing you need. For example, if you want to show some things, a shirt is a shirt, isn't it? You can't tell what it looks like, but there'll be some things where you need to put an image against that kind of red spotty shirt, for example, if that's the the example of the 2 attributes kind of levels. 2 attributes rather than options, just to use the right lingo. So yeah, it's just that ability to be able to do.
I'm popping the one roadmap link in the chat there. Is it not this multi-images on attributes that's in?
No, because that
might
be a case of here's the red shirt, here's the front, here's the back, here's the side of the shirt. So that's one thing, but it's more to do with the fact that you've got 2 attributes to make a product. So, which obviously the color and size of a shirt would be the prime example on that. I guess the other way of working around it is the old Business Catalyst product grouping, but it would be easier to do it in as an attribute where you can have an item which has a number of different attributes and then the options from that. So effectively what you need to do is load the item effectively. So the product would be the main thing, and then you'd say, right, out of this drop down it's got this one, out of this drop down it's got this one. So you kind of build your attributes and then bring them in from there. I guess looking at how Shopify do it is the thing to do. But luckily on the current project we're doing, it hasn't bitten us, but it could bite at any time. And they might be somebody who come back and go, right, we want to have stock control now. And at which point we're like, we now need to map them all, kind of do a big Excel piece of work and then load all of those products in, and then they end up with different attributes. It becomes messy very quickly from a usability point of view.
I can't. Go on, Rox.
Yeah, I was just thinking, we've got a couple of what we call product information management sites. So they're not really e-commerce, but they're all about products. And we use what are they called? We've got the structure that you're able to put onto a product, or, like a separate structure.
Oh, custom field sets.
Custom field sets, yeah. So we use custom field sets because, like one product group might have this type of attributes and another product group might have this other attributes.
Yeah. That's very doable until you come to that stock control element where you then need to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what I did with. I couldn't do it with stock control because we don't look after that. But I was just thinking, I think we did something similar where we just had to do it for that attribute 1 in the list was attribute 1 in the list. It was like a list type of thing where we almost do a hard coding that this goes with that and that goes with that in a way. I'll have a look and see if I can find out what we did and get back to you.
That'd be great. It might be a route, but it's
it wasn't easy
to make it work in with attributes, but it does mean taking things pretty heavily offline, which should be on an e-commerce platform. It's, you know, you wouldn't expect Shopify or WooCommerce or any of the people we're competing against and lifting sites from, not to be able to do that. So it's a bit like, you know, it's the core. It's a core element, and we do seem to be getting more and more e-commerce again now. So yeah, it'll become an issue at some point where we're like, we can't do that.
Yeah, I can't actually find anything about that in the sprint channel we had, or on the roadmap. Do you guys, if you do have any information on it, could you either create a roadmap task or add it to the most relevant? Do you think? Just so we have,
I mean,
just so we have all the info.
Yeah, it was originally the panic at BC switchover time with that Rheingard site. That was the first time it reared its head pretty significantly. But yeah, it's not been the issue since, but it does need looking at. So yeah, we'll put something together, and I'll put together a video kind of working through how shopping. Just so we've got a working kind of item there. But
is it attribute combinations?
That sounds about right.
That sounds right. Yeah.
So that is in the roadmap actually. Let me that was made a long time ago. Let me share it in the chat.
Yeah,
it probably was. 2021 as a guess.
Oh no, earlier than that.
Earlier than that.
Yeah, October 21.
There you go. I was wrong.
That was Pete that created it. Merged it from one of yours. Yeah. Okay. If you've got any more information, please do add it. Obviously, that's 2 years old now. So
What I'll do, I'll jump in. I'll do a video on what we do in Shopify. That'd be the easiest way. And then there's a process to follow. I'm hoping it won't be overly complicated, but very easy for me to say from here. Cool.
Great.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. I'm done.
Perfect. Is there anything else from your side, Rox or Liz? Is there anything else?
I think I've taken up too much time already, so.
It's nice to have some competition.
Perfect.
All good from here too. Yeah, just those things that we raised, I think were relevant to most of us.
Yeah, we'll look at reporting, especially. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your morning and your evening. And we'll see you at the next one.
Fantastic.
Well, no.
Thanks,
Thanks
everyone.
so much.
See you.
Great.
Yeah.
Ciao. Bye.